you for making the long trip back here. And I can't imagine how stressful it is leaving a 10-month-old behind, and certainly understand your urgency on getting on that Alaska Airlines flight here very shortly, so we will keep our comments brief. I appreciate what you have said about the significance of this systemic change, and also how you have outlined what we have seen as a state with repression of native languages historically, where not only were children discouraged, they were punished for speaking their native languages. And then how you come back out of that hurt and that repression is very difficult. And it's generational, but I do think that we are beginning to see that change, and it feels so good. I too have been out in the Yupik school district and been to the immersion programs there, and it is phenomenal what you see. But you also appreciate that what they're doing is they're building their own curriculum. They are working with elders. They are designing the flashcards. They are building it on their own. And I wonder, when we talk about support for relevant curriculum, we're making headway, but I also know that we do not have the number of native, Alaska Native teachers within our schools. We don't see as many back in our villages as we would like. And I know that so many of our administrators, whether they are our school superintendents, our administrators, our principals, they're coming to Alaska from outside. They might not have that connection about how significant and how important it is to really make these languages come alive to these children. Do you feel that you are getting the support to build these relevant curriculums, the support within the administration to do the change that we need to see so that that translates down to each student? Where are our barriers now?
Sure.
Thank you so much for that insight and painting that picture, I guess, that exists in our classroom, you know.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry. Absolutely. I mean, you bring such an important point and question forward. There does need to be, we're on the cusp of so much more. I feel like the potential is really huge. We have a lot of young people that are leading and spearheading these new programs, and there's kind of these language nests or different models that are looked at, and there's not one model that applies, and we can understand that today, to everybody, to these remote sites where I have 10 students. There's models where they're teaching students via distance delivery, video conferencing, Yukon-Kayakuk School District. Languages are accessible and dialects are accessible online. Students can click on their dialect and learn actively. In terms of, teacher preparation and, maybe we have so many teachers that are not from the area like I am. It's a privilege to be teaching in my own community. And so there is that need of teaching teachers about the culture. And just recently, with the teacher evaluation for our state of Alaska, they now have to be evaluated on cultural standards and how they're acknowledging and celebrating culture in the classroom. And so with this effort and language, I really see that blossoming and becoming more. The potential is out there. I don't think we're where we want to be yet. There are barriers, and I think getting the elders involved, the partnerships will be huge. I also want to stress the flexibility with these funds. I do like the idea of the 5-year, the granting cycle, but the flexibility to have changes made, I think, will be critical for our communities and those elders that they work with.
Well, I appreciate what you do as a teacher, and again, the opportunity to be back in your village is so important. I wish that we could encourage more. I think we're making that change. I ask about the support from superintendents and principals, though, because my children went to an immersion school in Anchorage, and it was a time when immersion schools were not yet that highly thought of. And it was very difficult in those initial years to get basically the respect from the district as to what it is that we were trying to do. And they wanted to take those very preliminary test results where in the early years when you have a child in an immersion program, perhaps they're not performing at the same level that a child in an English-speaking program is. And we had to demonstrate it. But when you have resistance from the top, it makes it difficult. So know that we want to work with you to encourage our administrators to make the commitment to our immersion programs that will allow for, again, the successes that I think we will see within our particularly our remote villages. So thanks for what you're doing. And I think this is pretty neat that there's no word for thank you. It's based on reciprocity. And what you are giving to your students is the most beautiful example of giving and thanks. So thank you.